So, what if I told you that some of the best leadership advice you'll ever hear doesn't come from a modern CEO or a Silicon Valley guru, but from a Puritan pastor writing way back in the 1650s? That's exactly what we're diving into today as we crack open Richard Baxter's The Reformed Pastor, a book that is, believe it or not, loaded with shockingly relevant lessons on how to lead with integrity and make a real impact.
Baxter kicks things off with this powerhouse of an idea, and it really sets the stage for everything else. Let's unpack it. You simply cannot be trusted with the well-being of other people if you aren't being faithful to your own character first. In other words, leadership is an inside job. It starts with you. Everything, and I mean everything, flows from that personal foundation.
All right, so first up, a 17th century leadership guide. We're going to look at why this old book is so much more than a historical religious text. It's really a timeless manual for anyone who's responsible for the well-being of other people.
Now, this timeline puts Baxter in a totally different world, right? We're talking about turbulent 17th century England. But what's so wild is that his core message on self-mastery and accountability feels like it could have been written for a business journal this morning. It's just that relevant.
So here it is, the absolute core of Baxter's thinking. Real, authentic leadership isn't a performance. It's not about the image you project or how charismatic you are. No, it's an inside-out process that starts with the hard, unseen work of managing your own character, your own motivations, and your own integrity.
And this brings us right to his first and maybe most radical principle. First, heal thyself. Baxter is absolutely insistent that the very first act of leadership, before you do anything else, is the internal work a leader does on themselves. He calls it taking heed to ourselves.
His central analogy for this is just brilliant. He compares a leader to a physician. I mean, think about it. How can you possibly diagnose and treat other people if you're ignoring your own critical illness? It just doesn't work. In the same way, a leader who hasn't tended to their own character is fundamentally ill-equipped to guide anyone else towards health and success.
And he gets super practical with 3 clear steps. First, secure your own soul. Make sure your character is actually sound. Second, sanctify your studies. In today's terms, that means learn with a purpose. Don't just gobble up knowledge to look smart, learn so you can better serve others. And finally, watch your heart, because who you are in private will always bleed into your public leadership. There's no escaping it.
I absolutely love this quote. It just perfectly captures Baxter's call for relentless, humble learning. He understood that leadership demands you never stop growing. Why? Because the challenges are profound, that well is deep, and our own understanding is always going to be limited. So for Baxter, a great leader is always a great student. They never, ever assume they have all the answers.
Okay, so once that internal foundation is solid, Baxter shifts the focus outward. This is all about shepherding the flock, which is his way of saying it's time to move from working on your own character to actively caring for your people.
Now, this is a huge mental shift. Baxter argues that true leadership isn't really about broadcasting a message from a stage or a pulpit. It's about the detailed, often unseen work of personal, hands-on engagement with each and every person you lead.
And Baxter was crystal clear. This care has to be for everyone. A real leader doesn't just focus on the star performers or, the problem cases. No, they have to attend to everybody, the struggling, the strong, the sick, and even the family units that are the backbone of the whole community. Baxter shows this surprisingly modern understanding of communication here. He draws a sharp line between the big public speech, which can be impersonal and easily misunderstood, and private instruction. That one-on-one conversation, that's where a leader can actually tailor the message, clear up doubts, and build real, lasting trust. It's a two-way street.
Okay, get ready for this. This is a staggering claim from his own experience. Baxter said he found that some people gained more insight and understanding from one 30-minute personal chat than from 10 years of sitting through weekly sermons. Just let that sink in. 10 years. It's an unbelievably powerful testament to the impact of focused individual attention.
All right, now we have to turn to what Baxter considered the single greatest threat to any leader, the poison of pride. He saw it as the one internal vice that could undermine every single good intention and unravel every positive thing you do.
So he poses a question that every single one of us in any kind of leadership position should be asking ourselves constantly. What is the one thing, the one enemy, that can completely undo all of our good work?
And his answer is incredibly stark. It's one word: pride. He calls it a heinous and palpable sin. For Baxter, this isn't some minor character flaw. It is the central poison that corrupts a leader from the inside out.
And then he breaks down exactly how this poison works its way through a leader's system. He says pride dictates what a leader says and how they say it. It makes them choose their friends based on status. It fills them with envy towards anyone else who might be successful. And most critically, it takes the noble act of serving others and twists it into a performance for self-promotion.
So you see, here's the crucial point. Two leaders can do the exact same things, but their inner motivation changes everything. The proud leader is working for applause and wants to control people. The humble leader is working for the good of others and wants to serve a higher purpose. For Baxter, that internal why is what makes all the difference in the world.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. Let's connect these nearly 400-year-old ideas directly to the challenges that leaders are grappling with in the workplace right now, today.
I mean, just look at this. It's incredible how perfectly Baxter's framework addresses our most modern challenges. We're worried about burnout. He says self-care isn't selfish, it's foundational. People are demanding authenticity. He says start with your inner character, not your public image. We've got disconnected teams. He tells us to practice individual, personal care. And an ego-driven culture, he diagnoses pride as the root poison every time. It's a perfect match.
So, when you boil it all down, while our technology and our offices have changed beyond recognition, the core human dynamics of leadership, they haven't really changed at all. The need for authenticity, for humility, and for genuine care is just as critical today as it was in 1655. And we'll end with this final thought to chew on. In our world where we are all so focused on building our personal brands and growing our influence, what do we do with a 400-year-old voice telling us that the first step to true leadership is to actually forget the self? It might just be the most radical and the most necessary leadership advice of all.